In the shadows of Glasgow, a criminal empire thrived. It was an organization so sophisticated, so deeply entrenched, that law enforcement feared they were facing one of the most significant challenges in modern Scottish history. This was the Escalade Gang, a network that imported 1 million wraps of cocaine a year, generating over £100 million annually, with tentacles stretching from the streets of Baillieston to the cartels of Brazil. For a year, the Organized Crime and Counter-Terrorism Unit, the OCCTU, worked in the shadows, their officers part of a massive undercover operation. The gang, however, were not ordinary criminals. They invested heavily in cutting-edge anti-surveillance equipment, the same high-end kit used by the military and law enforcement. They conducted technical sweeps of their cars and premises, jamming airwaves to ensure their digital footprint was non-existent. It was a nightmare for covert policing. Detective Chief Superintendent Jerry McLean, head of the OCCTU, described them as posing one of the greatest challenges to covert policing in Scotland and the UK. The vast network's downfall would not come from a grand raid, but from a single chance encounter. It was about 6 p.m. on January 20th, 2017. On the eastern outskirts of Glasgow, in Church Street, Baillieston, 2 officers were conducting surveillance on one of the gang's unassuming vehicles, a silver Toyota Yaris. Suddenly they spotted him, Mark Richardson, an Edinburgh-based gangster already linked to the group. This was the moment everything changed. It was the tipping point, as DescriptionA McLean would call it, switching the operation from covert to overt. The officers gave chase. Richardson was eventually rugby tackled to the ground. In the chaos, the officers secured the keys to the Yaris. On his keychain, they noticed a strange fob that didn't appear to set off any alarm. It was the key to the gang's stunning ingenuity. Inside the Yaris, the detectives made a crucial discovery. The key fob activated a Bluetooth device concealed in the car's rear cluster light. This, in turn, commanded a hydraulic ram to lift a metal plate in the boot. Beneath the plate, in a neoprene holster, lay a terrifying discovery: a loaded 9mm Glock 17 handgun with 15 bullets. Richardson's DNA was on the pistol. This compartment, designed to be practically invisible on a random stop, was a clear demonstration of the gang's exceptional lengths to conceal their operation. This single arrest, and the discovery in the Yaris, set off a rapid chain of events that would unravel the entire criminal enterprise. The arrest led police to an industrial unit in Croftfoot, South Glasgow, where they discovered several sets of car keys. One was ominously labeled Annie. Cross-referencing this information, police focused on a lockup on Widdenham Drive in Anniesland in the west end of Glasgow. The gang rented the space under a false name, paying the £500 monthly fee up front in cash. When officers arrived on February 5th, they saw one lockup stood out, a shiny door with 2 padlocks, while all the others were falling apart. They had a key fob that said Annie, and they were in Anniesland. It was, as DescriptionA McLean put it, a real golden nugget. Inside, the police found an arsenal, 11 guns, all neatly packaged and labeled. The deadly haul included Glock pistols, a Heckler & Koch submachine gun, and an M75 hand grenade. This grenade alone was packed with 3,000 steel balls capable of killing people within 25 meters. Prosecutor Alex Prentice QC told the High Court, "The firepower at the disposal of this group is unprecedented in terms of the history of organized crime in Scotland." This deadly haul didn't just represent firepower, it delivered a treasure trove of forensic evidence. Crucially, the DNA of torture victim Robert Allen was discovered on a Beretta pistol, a weapon used to pistol whip him after he failed to pay a £30,000 drug debt in 2015. The police were also able to piece together the gang's key members and their roles. Former soldier Martin Fitzsimmons served as the gang's main ballistics expert. Lorry driver David Sell was a crucial figure in the international supply chain. Sell, it was revealed, made trips to Brazil, meeting face-to-face with cartels to source high-purity cocaine. He arranged the shipment of Class A drugs from South America to Europe, routed via West Africa. This was a sophisticated global enterprise. The gang's use of sophisticated counter-surveillance gear, the ability to jam the airwaves and detect listening devices, forced Police Scotland to adapt. They had to refine their techniques to avoid showing a large digital footprint. During surveillance, lessons that have since been shared with law enforcement partners like Scotland Yard. 9 men from the gang, including Richardson, Fitzsimmons, and Sell, were eventually sentenced to a combined total of 87 years. But the operation is not over. The masterminds behind the Escalade Gang are believed to be dividing their time between Spain and Portugal, moving their criminal base overseas to evade detection. Police Scotland is already working on the next phase of the operation, named Operation Escalade, with a global reach. Detectives have held regular meetings with the FBI and the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA, at the U.S. Embassy in London, seeking support for surveillance on the streets of South America. The traditional view of the gangster enjoying their time in the sun after making their money is obsolete. Today's most dangerous criminals take their base of operations global. But as DescriptionA warned, they should be aware that working with our international partners, we now have a global reach. The downfall of this sophisticated crime gang was triggered by a stroke of luck and the tenacity of 2 officers in Baillieston. But the fight against the Godfathers, who generated a fortune on the misery of 1 million wraps of cocaine, continues on an international stage.